Hey guys, welcome to the channel. I'm your host Will, and tonight I'm going to be flying solo because my wife is away. I don't know if you can hear them or not, but there are a ton of crickets tonight. I think it's a full moon. Kind of eerie. We're dry camping in Pennsylvania, and we just rewatched the movie The Village, M. Night Shyamalan's The Village from about 20 years ago now already. And I believe that movie was shot in Pennsylvania, and he definitely makes the woods creepy. In fact, The Woods was the original title of that movie until they had to change it for copyright reasons. Anyway, I digress. We have a movie podcast. If you haven't listened to it yet, it's called Movies Reimagined. So we'll stick to cinematic talk there. In this episode, we're going to talk about security. Basically, items you should or should not have with you at all times on the road. The first item is the most obvious one, a gun. I don't want to start any kind of gun control debate here. Like most things in life, there are pros and cons to gun ownership. I think we've been fortunate so far in 10 months of travel that we haven't been bothered by anyone. But if you want a gun with you, make sure you're obeying all federal, state, county, and local laws. Obviously, those are going to change as you go from state to state, city to city, etc. If you do have a gun, what kind should it be? And the only reason I ask is because some people recommend shotguns for home protection. But a pistol is going to be easier to travel with and conceal. Also, it'd be much easier to secure it in some kind of gun safe or lockable storage device inside your RV. Now, it may be tempting to slap a sticker on your rig that says NRA or something like that, but I've heard from law enforcement that this may actually be a bad idea. Why? Guns are highly valuable and people like to steal them. So if you put a sticker on your rig, you may actually be telling thieves, hey, I have something here you might want to steal. So let's talk about... Did you hear that? Maybe I'm imagining things. So moving along here, let's talk about gun alternatives. There are tasers and there are stun guns. What's the difference? A stun gun requires close proximity and uses a painful shock. On the other hand, a taser uses projectile prongs. I'm sure many of you have seen tasers used on YouTube, probably by law enforcement. So with the ability to shoot those projectiles, it allows you to be further away from the attacker. Up to 15 feet, I've read. And it's a lot better than a stun gun at incapacitating muscle function. So, stun gun requires you to be up close. Taser gives you more distance. Can civilians buy tasers? Yes. It is legal to do so in most states, but Illinois, Maryland, and Minnesota require background checks. Additionally, permits are required in Connecticut, Delaware, Illinois, Massachusetts, New Mexico, West Virginia, and Wisconsin. Tasers are actually illegal in Hawaii and Rhode Island. Furthermore, even if the taser is legal in your state, it may be prohibited in your city. So make sure to double check your local laws. For example, tasers are legal in Illinois, but they're banned in Chicago. Next up, there's self-defense guns. These look a lot like real pistols. They can actually be colored black too, but a lot of times they're other colors like orange and yellow. They're powered by CO2 cartridges, and they fire projectiles. And usually it's some kind of hard plastic ball. If you're familiar with paintball guns, it's a similar concept, except the form factor is a lot smaller. In addition to plastic balls, they've now devised these balls that emit caustic agents upon contact. For example, the ball hits the attacker and it releases pepper spray or tear gas. Be aware, these variants are not legal to purchase in all states, and the manufacturers have shipping restrictions online. After doing some research, I actually purchased a self-defense gun from a company called Byrna, Byrna. And my thought was, if someone actually broke into our rig while we were home, it's much easier to grab this pistol and fire it at a distance than, say, reaching for a blunt instrument. Or even the next item on the list, which is pepper spray. I don't think I need to go into much detail here. Everyone knows what pepper spray is. It's legal in all 50 states. And usually the bottles are pocket size and easy to conceal, which is good for women especially. You just tuck it into your purse, your handbag. But that small size, about 0.75 ounces, means a very small spray zone. So realistically, you've got to be up close to the attacker to make sure you hit them in the eyes or face. So, as an alternative, I actually like bear spray. It comes in much larger canisters, 7.9 ounces, and you can loop it onto your belt or just stick it in a pocket. I don't recommend carrying it in your purse. This is more for RV life, so you'd have it in your backpack if you're hiking or just tucked away in your rig somewhere. If you do a lot of hiking in bear country, for sure you're going to want this. In our travels, we've seen it for sale or for rent, actually, if you don't want to buy it. Now, if someone decides to attack you, hitting them with bear spray is going to be much more effective than pepper spray. One, the spray zone is much wider. It's not like a squirt. It is like a strong blast. Also, if you're in an area where there are a lot of big dogs or unruly dogs that have been seen off leash, having bear spray on you could ward them off. I've heard too many stories of small dogs being attacked by big dogs off leash. And of course, we have two small dogs that we love and will protect at any cost. By the way, just as an aside, I saw a video recently of a big dog attacking a small dog on YouTube, and the people really had no idea what to do. They were just kind of wrestling the big dog, trying to get it to release its grip. If that ever happens to you or you see it happening, what you can do is stick a finger up the attacking dog's rectum. I know that sounds funny, but it actually works. Next up, personal safety alarms. Like pepper spray, these are usually small devices that can be carried in a handbag or even used on a keychain. When triggered, they emit a loud siren at about 130 decibels. Some of them can flash a strobe light too. So my wife has this attached to her handbag, but honestly, I don't think it's going to deter a vicious attacker, someone who's intent to cause serious harm. The siren just isn't loud enough to disorient or incapacitate someone. So really, the benefit of this is to draw attention to yourself and hope that other people around you come to your rescue. Next, knives. Seems like a lot of guys carry pocket knives these days, mostly for utility, but obviously you can use them for self-defense. Now, a knife is going to require close quarters and really some kind of skill to do damage. There's a high chance of injuring yourself with the blade when using it. So, not high on my own personal list when it comes to security. Last on this list are batons. These are the retractable metal rods. They're usually about 2 feet in length. You can do some serious damage with it, but they're a little too big to say, put in your pocket. So it's something you could have in your backpack or handbag or tucked away in your RV. All right, let's move on to locks. If you want to replace your original door lock, RVLock is perhaps the most popular alternative. Their current model features an electronic keypad and a keychain fob that lets you unlock and lock the door remotely. Just a warning though, we have an RVLock 4.0 and the electronics inside have failed us twice now. Considering that the item's highly rated online, it could just be our bad luck. We've been very careful to seal the lock outside from the elements, so I'm not sure why the electronics keep failing. In addition to a door lock, you just have regular outdoor locks like a padlock. There are all kinds of manufacturers for this. Needless to say, there are going to be times you want to lock up certain items outside. For instance, your e-bikes. When our generator is outside and not in our pickup truck, we'll lock it up with a cable lock. And for the surge protector on the rig. And that leads... Oh, there it is again. Hold on a sec. Let me check the window. Oh. Don't hear anything. Maybe it's the voices in my head. Okay. Next up, alarms. So I just mentioned e-bikes. If you're using a padlock for that, you might also want to couple it with a bike alarm. Now, these are usually small electronic devices that could fit in the palm of your hand. They're actually pretty loud too. I want to say much louder than the personal safety devices that we talked about earlier. They can also be easily triggered though with motion sensing. So that could annoy you if you forget that it's armed and you accidentally trigger it, which I'm speaking from personal experience, obviously. You can find them on Amazon. Alarm systems. I'll talk about Ring since I like their security cameras a lot. If you buy a system from Ring, they sell a base station and contact sensors that you can place all around the inside of your rig to act kind of like a traditional home alarm system. But you'll need Wi-Fi or good cell reception for it to actively work. And this could be a problem if you're dry camping and trying to conserve power. In our experience, in those instances, you'll need to arm the system selectively, because if you have it on all the time and you're trying to conserve power, you get the gist. You also need a monthly subscription to receive the full features from Ring. I think it's worth it though. They also have additional items like smoke detectors that you can add to the Ring system. Next, motion sensor alarms. This is something you can add to Ring too, but you can also buy standalone products if you want, although they usually require power. I say usually because they do have some solar powered motion sensor alarms for sale. This could be handy for dry camping, and you could mount it to the outside of your rig using some heavy duty Velcro. Next, lights. Solar lights. These are obviously the easiest thing to add to your rig. We added a couple around our travel trailer using that Velcro I just mentioned and set them to light up with motion detection. That heavy duty Velcro, I've actually found that I can leave these lights on the exterior of our rig while we're traveling and they don't come flying off. I only found that out because we forgot to take one down one time, but to our surprise it stayed on. However, these lights, they're not floodlights. The ones that we bought are 4.5 watts. So if it's really dark outside, they do a good job, but they're not going to blind anyone. Like the next item on our list, which would be floodlights. These require power, but they're much stronger than solar lights, like 100 times stronger. However, I don't know how necessary they are when camping or staying at an RV park. They'd be more useful when you're dry camping. Again, though, if they require power, you're going to have to figure that out. Also, they'd be good if you're just leaving your rig at your house and want to make sure no one messes with it. String lights or Christmas lights. In the Southwest, it's popular to see people stringing lights around their rig and also underneath their vehicles too. I hear this is not just for security, but it's to ward off critters from trying to make their way into your home. Night lights. I don't know about you, but a nightlight helps me out when I have to get up to pee in the middle of the night. However, having night lights in your rig can help for security reasons, especially if you think about it. You're awakened in the middle of the night by some noise or some intruder. Having a dim light on will help you get out of bed faster and more safely. Next up, cameras. Since we recommend Ring cameras, I'm just going to focus on those. I really like the fact that you can buy battery operated ones. That's what we use in our rig. The batteries can hold a charge for about 2 months depending on how much you use them. I currently have 2 mounted on the inside of our rig, basically covering both sides. And I have 4 more that I use outside depending upon the situation. For example, sometimes I'll put one on the roof near the skylight so that it can monitor our truck when parked. I also have one on the side of the rig to cover the front door area, and then the other 2 I use more selectively. The cameras require Wi-Fi or a hotspot connection with your phone. So for Wi-Fi, that'll mean having power. Now, the one thing I don't like is that you have to manually connect each camera whenever you change the network. For example, from your modem to your hotspot. So for that reason, I tend to leave them connected to our modem, which means they only function properly when our modem is powered on. So if we're dry camping, they'll only work when we specifically fire up Starlink and Wi-Fi at designated times. Basically, if we're not in the trailer at the time, if we leave the dogs behind to go, say, have dinner, then I'll have the security cameras on. Now, you don't have to subscribe, but functionality is severely limited in my opinion that way. And for one monthly cost, you can have all of your cameras fully functioning. So like I mentioned, we actually have 6 cameras, but we only have to pay 1 monthly cost. And I reduced that monthly cost by paying for an entire year and event. The hell was that? Oh yeah. Sorry, it scared the heck out of me. I thought we were alone out here. It's a good thing I'm talking about security, so I have my bear spray and my gun and baton, all these things ready in case that guy comes back. Okay, just thinking outside of the box here, these are a few more items you could use for security. So in your rig, most likely you're going to have fire extinguishers. Usually there's one by the front door, so that could be used to ward somebody off. You blast them in the face. Defensive keychains. Women have these a lot. There's some kind of sharp stabbing weapon on them. You probably have some kind of axe or hatchet for firewood. Then there's the good old-fashioned Louisville Slugger bat you could have, say like in your living room or in your closet. And then there's stickers. So I'm kind of a sticker fanatic, so I put up all kinds of stickers on our rig. For example, beware of dog. I put up the stickers that come with the Ring cameras to make sure people know they're being monitored. I also have a couple on us that mention we have bear spray on us. And so, whoa! Hey! Hey! What are you doing? Hey! I didn't mention this before, but I have old Betsy here. Let me get it out. Obviously, I don't know what the hell this guy's thinking. Stop. Hey, stop it! Hey! Hey! Hey!
Say there, campers. Are you in need of werewolf insurance? You never know when or where a lycanthrope will attack. Here at Cheney Insurance, we cover all your needs. Death, dismemberment, disembowelment, flaying, even reanimation. When you think of werewolves, think of Cheney Insurance.